Good morning. There's something that I've realized the last few days. This is Nairobi in the morning hours, and it's around 10 a.m. right now. 10 a.m. in the year around 2010, 2012, 2013. This street, Banda Street, used to be extremely busy. But right now, as you can see, there are no people at all. No people at all. 10 a.m. is almost 2 hours before the midday begins. And as you can see, few people in town. Actually, you can even find parking at 10 a.m. Usually, you see that place, there's no car there. So that means you can even come and get a parking. I feel like there's serious economic crackdown in Kenya. People are jobless, there's no money. People are feeling the brunt of Kasongo. And I think it's a sad state. Not unless the president implements some kind of a new policy to improve on the economy, things are getting extremely worse. Nairobi has never been like this. Nairobi has never been this so bored, and the streets so empty like this. It has never been like this, and I hope things get better.
Tunataka production, tunataka factories. Mambo ya kwenda pale unapatia watu sijui machines, umewapatia machine, umewaambia mali wanaenda kusimama, umewaletea customer, hujawaletea, hawana wako the same problem. Unafaa useme nimewapatia machine, nimewatengenezea structure, enda pale kuna maji, mwende mwanze kazi. Na customer ni hawa. Si kuwapiga kipindi pale. Tunatuambia sasa umefanya empowerment. Empowerment unataka ulaunch industries. Ulaunch factories. Hiyo ndio empowerment. Tunajua kesho huyu wote hatuwezi fanya kazi ya mjengo, tutaenda pale tutafute kazi. Hiyo ndio empowerment. Lakini hii propaganda nafanya hapa PR na kudance na kusema unaona watoto wa maskini wako hapa. Ule jamaa alitoka pale. Kesho hata hiyo machine asipopata pesa ya kununua license ama maji, hiyo machine imsaidii.
People working in the counties are really suffering, and it's high time we talk about it, because mahali imefika I make sense. And the people I'm talking about are nurses, clerks, junior administrators, accountants, security officers, teachers. And why I'm saying it makes no sense is because, like, in my line of work, I work with pay slips a lot. I get to know a lot about what people are paid and how their money is distributed. I've been dealing with county employees lately, and I'll just give you an example of a certain fella. He works in Meru County. So he earns 50,000 every month. That's his gross salary. But whatever hits his account is 12,000 shillings. And this is very common. There's another nurse that I worked with, and she earns about 60,000. But at the end of the month, imagine you've worked the entire month, but what hits her account is 15,000 shillings. And the reason why this is happening is because of the deductions, the loans, there's so many deductions on these pay slips that whatever they're taking home is not even making sense to me. A study was done and it showed that county employees are taking home less than a third of their salary. The law is very clear, and it says that no employee should take home less than a third of their pay. But because of mismanagement at the county levels, employees are forced to be involved in debt cycles. So this month you get paid and you have debts from last month and deductions and everything. And at the end of the month, you're literally earning nothing. County people are earning nothing. And fine, there's a lot that meets the eye. I know that this side gigs that bring in extra pay and whatnot, and I say side gigs with a pinch of salt sometimes, but still, who allowed deductions to be more than 2/3? The law is meant to bring order. How does a mother and a public servant choose between buying food and paying rent? And Nandi County has the highest number of affected people according to the report, followed by Kiambu, Embu, and Kitui. People are earning nothing from their salaries and they're working every day. Who is allowing these deductions to take place? For people to belong in a system where their salary does not even belong to them. These people are the backbones of counties, but their financial lives are crumbling. We need better financial management at the county level.
Hebu tusikize CS Mbadi anasemaje.
Early 2023,
when we really felt that the cost of basic commodities could not be afforded by ordinary people. We had sufurias on our heads. Today, how many people are in the streets with sufurias on their heads? I don't see them. It means now the cost of what was being cooked by sufuria has gone down. So that is what I'm saying in a nutshell.
I see.
To lower the cost of living and to restore the dignity of our people, Mr. Ruto must go. Unasema Ruto aende. Aende alafu nani ifanyike? My name is Raila. I am not a statesman. I am a conman. I always threaten to be president, but my intention is not to win. I am after handshakes and deals with government. I am a traitor.
Today, I can tell you the economy of Kenya is stable. And
our national debt is now over 12.1 trillion Kenya shillings. We have borrowed over 3.5 trillion Kenya shillings in 3 years. President Kibaki borrowed 1.2 trillion in the entire 10 years he was president. And therefore we have borrowed 3 times in 3 years. We have borrowed 3 times what Kibaki borrowed in 10 years. That's the money Kenya has borrowed in the last 3 years alone. 3 times what Kibaki borrowed in 10 years. And in that money I have not included other debts that Kenya has now become clever to borrow in the name of something called securitization. I have not mentioned even that. It therefore means the economy of Kenya is borrowing 100 billion every month. And every single day, when the lights go off, every day, every single day, Kenya is borrowing 3.4 billion every day. That we are borrowing in a minute. You can do the calculations and see. In an hour, maybe we are borrowing around 137 every 1 hour. I'm saying this because we are now headed to the elections. And what governments do, they focus more on re-election and we forget that we have a country to lead after the elections. And what that means is that every time we are nearing elections, we start having something called fiscal expansion. Because maybe there is nothing much to be seen for the past year, then in basically 1 year, we want everything to be seen. And therefore what do? We become reckless in borrowing. Kenya is there now. That now our debt is 12 trillion Kenya shillings. I want to request that we do not have to put our country in that kind of pedestal in terms of borrowing. Kenya has always had development for the many years, but we never had to borrow that much. President Kibaki did a lot of development. He borrowed only 1.2 trillion for 10 years. Where is the 1.2 trillion we are borrowing every year going? To make the matter worse, anything you see with your mouth, with your eyes, sorry for that. Maybe the mouth is what is also being used somewhere. So I shouldn't say sorry. Let me paraphrase that. Everything you see with your eyes happening in Kenya now, in terms of development, what you can see, for example, the expansion of this Keno Marwa Road, is not even part of the 12 trillion borrowed. Is another column on the side called fuel levy securitization. Everything else you see in Kenya in terms of development, like even the Talanta Stadium, is also not part of the 12 trillion debt. That is another debt, securitization of the sports fund, where we borrowed 46 billion and we'll be paying 100 billion in interest rate alone after 15 years. Even the expansion of Nairobi Nakuru Road is also not part of the 12 trillion we have borrowed. That is NSSF money being used as a PPP to build that road. I request those who are in government, you have already borrowed 1.2 trillion every year. And even what we can see with our eyes is actually not part of that borrowing. Please, kueni na huruma ya nchi ya Kenya. Even as we preside over the affairs of our country, let us be, tujue kwa akili zetu ya kwamba there is Kenya after elections. Let us not run our country in terms of overheating it. We must avoid to become like Sri Lanka. We must avoid to become like Ghana. We must avoid to become like Ethiopia. We must avoid to become like Zambia in the recent years. Because Kenya is a strong country with internal resources. This issue of profligate borrowing must come to an end if we really care about this country. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
We have a problem with the public debt. It's eating into half of what we produce.
Yes.
2, we have a problem of domestic borrowing by government. And let me explain a little bit about that.
Okay.
Usually, especially in Mwai Kibaki's government, we had a sensible parliament. It put a gap of the percentage the government should borrow domestically. The percentage of the GDP.
Okay.
That you are not supposed to go beyond that. Today, it is not there. You can borrow as much as you want. When we say that a government is borrowing locally, what do we mean? So most Kenyans, maybe they don't understand. When the government borrows locally, they are coming to borrow money from the open market. Your savings and mine. Where do they find this money? In our banks. Pension funds. Insurance companies, SACCOs. So when the government borrows money from all these entities, they take away the money you and me could have borrowed to either start a business or do a development project in the area. You have identified a market niche, but you cannot solve it because you do not have the money. Why? Because the government is borrowing everything. And why do the banks prefer to lend to government instead of people? It is more profitable. When they do risk calculation, with government it's minimal than lending to you. And also the government is borrowing at a very high rate. Maybe they are borrowing at the rate of 14%. So when they calculate risk on you, they will give it to you at 17%. It becomes so exorbitant, you can't repay. So the banks have one big customer called the government. They give all the money to government.
Wakili, how are you doing?
I'm okay, love. How are you?
I'm good.
Yes.
Gachagua already sees himself as the better candidate for 2027. Now that you are also in Safina Party, why should Kenyans believe on the Jimmy Wanjigi Willie Sutino ticket as the real alternative?
Because we are chaperoning politics of issues. It's about the people's agenda, not about politicians. So it should not be about an individual. What does that individual represent as the issue that is of concern to the people of Kenya? So ask us, what do we stand for? We stand for the economy.
What vision and future plans do you have?
Our vision is very straightforward and very clear. We are going to pay odious debt. Illegal debt, we will not pay. Then you ask us, what will you do with the money that you save? We will not pay for, Kenya will not pay for education. It will be free. They will not pay for healthcare. It will be free. We are going to stop borrowing from domestic market. With your ideas, you can walk into a bank here and access capital at a lesser interest rate. Today, you go there, interest rate 20%. Why? Because government is borrowing heavily from that market. We'll stop borrowing from the domestic market. Let Kenyans access that money. Interest rate will fall to 3%. You borrow 1 million, in a year you are paying 30,000 at 3% interest rate. Who will not be able to economically feel empowered? That is the difference between us and legacy politicians. To them, it's about me, mtu wetu. I need to be a big person. No, we want Kenyans to be the big person by having money in their pockets.
Thank you so much, Wakili.
Thank you.
Hi Kenyans, mi sina maneno mengi. All I want to say is Ruto must go, like yesterday. Bye.
Enyewe, Ruto must go. Enyewe, Ruto must go. By the way, Ruto must go. Enyewe, Ruto must go. Wash fire, Ruto must go. Enyewe, Ruto must go. By the way, Ruto must go.